Hi, I'm Tammy Arender, and I'm here with Chuck Neparella, the CEO of TCA Cellular. And Chuck, I've had an opportunity to interview some of your patients and hear some incredible success stories with adult stem cell therapy. Give us a little preview of what we're going to see and hear over the next half hour.
Thanks, Tammy. As you already know, we're passionate about what we do here at TCA Cellular. The entire team is an unbelievable group of people to work with, starting with, as you know, Gabriel Lasala, who's our founder and president, who happens to be an interventional cardiologist, Dr. Jose Miguel, who's a Chilean-trained PhD research scientist, and he's really kind of the intellectual power behind all of this, this whole magic of adult stem cells. We're going to talk a little bit about the FDA and the challenge of moving through their clinical trials towards commercialization, which is a nice way of saying we can start to treat patients on a massive scale. Right now, it's only on a very limited basis.
I know clinical trials can be very expensive.
They're unbelievably expensive. We've done some research on that, and there's a gentleman who teaches the fall FDA drug law course at Harvard, and his recent textbook mentions that taking a new drug or biological or molecule from start to finish takes about $1 billion. So it really makes it hard for a small company like us, we are privately held. We're not, as someone would say, one of the big boys in the world of pharmacology. It's a harder mountain to climb, but we believe the science we have is very powerful, and so we're going to climb that mountain.
And what I've heard from these patients is almost a paradigm shift in modern medicine.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. It really is. This is not just a new discovery of a new drug or biological. There's no doubt in the global scientific community, the promise of stem cells is looked on with a lot of hope, and it will absolutely change the way medicine is done at the bedside in the next 10 to 20 years. There's no doubt about that. What's different about us is we do not do embryonic stem cell research. We have focused completely and totally on adult stem cells. We believe those cells are a little more stable, and although from a scientific standpoint, there will be a time we think that embryonic stem cells will be useful. Right now, it looks to us from a global standpoint that it's the adult stem cells that are showing the most promise in human studies.
Thank you, Chuck. Well, stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to introduce you to our lead research scientist, Dr. Jose Miguel.
We live in exciting times where medical researchers are utilizing adult stem cells to repair and regenerate damaged tissue. The bioethical debate surrounding embryonic stem cells can be put to rest with the advancement and success of adult stem cells. Regenerative medicine is producing life-saving results. Adult stem cells act as a repair system for damaged tissue. By retrieving adult stem cells, multiplying them, and infusing them into damaged areas, they go to work to repair damaged tissue. Clinical trials are underway using the tremendous biological power of adult stem cells, and TCA Cellular Therapy is leading the way in some of these important advancements. The preliminary results are astonishing for difficult-to-treat diseases, including heart disease, ischemia of the legs, spinal cord injury, diabetes, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, multiple sclerosis, stroke, and even osteoarthritis. The list will continue to grow as this groundbreaking research continues.
As a scientist, you must be proud to be on the cutting edge of what looks like will be a transformation in the way people are treated with stem cells. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that, we are at the very beginning of this thing. I would like to say that the use of stem cells in clinical trials started no more than 6 or 7 years ago. And all the clinical trials, at least in this country, they are what we call phase 1 or phase 2. That means we need to show that the cell that we are going to use will not damage the patient. Never mind if the cell is doing nothing, okay? But the main thing is safety. The patient is safe. And the second thing, then you move into what we call phase 2, where you, in addition to safety, you need to prove that the system that you are using works. And we would like to translate that, what is happening from a cellular point of view, to translate that thing into a person. So this is why we started the clinical trial. So from that point of view, theoretically, we were very sure that the thing will work. But that is quite different when you see the patient, come in very happy. Do you see that the heart is working fine, ejection fraction is going up again, and the quality of life, that is very important, of the patient improves.
We interviewed patients who gave us some glowing and positive testimonies about how adult stem cells have transformed and changed their lives. Each one had incredible success stories to tell us. If they were in this room right now, what would you tell them?
Well, the first thing is just to thank them for the confidence that they gave us, to start something that was very new.
So what is your outlook for adult stem cell research and therapy?
It's a new thing, and the new thing started probably 5 or 6 years ago, and this is a result of the work of many, many people working at the cellular level, the molecular level, and doing animal studies.
Dr. LaSala, thank you so much for meeting with us today. Dr. LaSala, what is regenerative medicine?
Regenerative medicine is something very new. It's completely different to traditional medicine. With traditional medicine, what we used to do is we used to cut off tissue, cut off cancers, cut off disease, and try to use drugs to kill cells and to kill things that were harmful to our bodies. Regenerative medicine is just the opposite. It's to recreate cells, to recreate tissues by allowing cells to multiply and building new tissues and new organs.
What's the difference between adult stem cells and embryonic stem cells?
An embryonic stem cell is a much earlier cell. It's much more unpredictable. It's much more difficult to control. So you put an embryonic stem cell in a patient, and it's very hard to predict when that cell will stop growing and what that cell will become. When you take adult stem cells, they're much more predictable because they have differentiated at different stages, in more mature cells. You know that one particular type of adult stem cells can become bone or cartilage or connective tissue, but it's not going to become a neuron or hair. At the same time, an adult stem cells that is taken from the blood will become a blood cell, but it's not going to become bone. With embryonic stem cell, this is what you cannot predict. You take a cell that is so early in the stage of development that it's extremely difficult to predict what it's going to become. It's something that nobody expected, many don't understand, but it's going to become the future of medicine.
At TCA Cellular, you've made the clinical and scientific decision to only work with adult stem cells. Is that because they're easier to work with?
Because the cells are reliable, they're predictable, because there is an ethical issue too, and that's what we chose to do, and this is the cells that we believe are the best cells to use.
As an interventional cardiologist, which sounds like it would be a far cry from a stem cell researcher, what was your inspiration to get involved in stem cell research and start a research company at TCA Cellular?
I realized at that time that the future of medicine was not to kill tissue, to kill cells, but to build cells and to build tissue.
Dr. Miguel has been a partner almost from the beginning. So how did you come to find someone so renowned in this industry?
Dr. Miguel was the first doctor who discovered mesenchymal stem cells in umbilical cord blood. Dr. Miguel was the first doctor who created a bone marrow transplant program in South America. Dr. Miguel was, to me, at the top of the world, and I couldn't believe, after talking to him and trying to convince him to come here, that he said yes.
As you have seen, the potential and promise that adult stem cell research brings to just the few people that we've met today needs your help. Not everyone responds in such a miraculous way, but many do. Moving through FDA clinical approval takes a tremendous amount of time, talent, and capital. Conducting ongoing research is also very expensive. Your help and support is critical. The good work being done by the research team at TCA Cellular Therapy can continue, but only with your help and support. Please call 888-272-3385 and help keep this important research moving forward. I had the privilege of meeting and interviewing Mr. Dudley Jourdan and his granddaughter Kara. Mr. Jourdan had been diagnosed with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or sometimes called Lou Gehrig's disease. ALS is a rapidly progressive and invariably fatal neurological disease that attacks nerve cells that are responsible for controlling voluntary muscles. With ALS, motor nerve cells degenerate or die, ceasing to send messages to muscles. Without these electrical messages, the muscles are unable to function, gradually weaken, waste away, and twitch. Eventually, all muscles under voluntary control are affected, and patients lose their strength and the ability to move their arms, legs, and body. When the muscles in the diaphragm and the chest wall fail, patients lose the ability to breathe without ventilator support. Most people with ALS die from respiratory failure, usually within 3 to 5 years from the onset of the symptoms. Mr. Jourdan and his granddaughter Kara attended an ALS meeting where Dr. LaSala was presenting. Mr. Jourdan was so weak and unable to speak that he brought Kara there to help him. As Dr. LaSala tells me, Kara asked excellent questions and was shocked to learn that she was only in her early teens. Since that meeting, Mr. Jourdan has received an adult stem cell infusion. This is their story. So Dudley, what were you told when you first came to Dr. Mengele about your stem cell treatment?
They told me that they didn't believe this was a cure, that their best thoughts was maybe this could help you maintain where you're at. And I said, luckily I'm in the early stages of the disease and I can still get around and live a normal life. And if that would be the case, I'd be tickled to death that I can just maintain where I am now at the present. Was back then, and now I'm so much better. I can't believe it.
So what happened when you received your adult stem cells?
Nothing really happened at first. It really took about a month or two till I could really notice improvement. And I didn't, of course yourself, you don't realize what's going on and as much as other people were commenting how much I was improving with my speech and my walking and balance really improved. Up until that, my friends, before I was diagnosed with the ALS, they thought I had a stroke or something like that because my speech was really bad. I know it's a little slow now, but it's a lot better than it used to be. Unless I get excited, then I kind of stutter a little bit, but it's really improved a lot.
So what did you experience and suffer through before your stem cell treatment?
The main problem I had was balance and all. In fact, I would fall all the time, maybe 4 or 5 times a day, because I like to work in the yard and stuff. In fact, after Hurricane Katrina came, all the workers and my neighbors called me Crash Jourdan because I used to be an avid bicyclist and I after the hurricane, when the streets were still blocked and you couldn't drive around, I would ride my bike everywhere. And once I was on it and I was riding, it was great. But when I would stop and go to get off, down I'd go every time.
Carrie, you noticed your grandfather's speech was so improved, as was his balance. Tell us about the changes that you noticed in your grandfather.
Well, he mentioned how he was always falling, and I of course noticed that, but I honestly have not seen him fall since, maybe once or twice. And his speech, it did take a while, about a month or a month and a half, but his speech was so much clearer. Like before, I had trouble even understanding him sometimes. And yeah, his balance and his walking, he doesn't trip as much and he doesn't shuffle his feet.
So if someone came up to you at school and said that stem cells were a bunch of baloney and that Dr. Miguel, Dr. LaSala were not very credible, what would you tell them?
I would say that they were completely wrong, because to see what they've done for my grandpa, it's totally proof.
So if you could look Dr. LaSala in the eye, what would you tell him?
Oh, I tell him every day I thank God for him. He's a savior. I can't believe that. I can't believe he's here in South Louisiana, literally across the street from my house, doing this kind of miracle work, not only with the ALS, but also with the cardiovascular stuff. I've met a few patients at the clinic and all, and they've been amazed also with the progress they've received with the stem cells for their problems.
Dudley, what has stem cell therapy, Dr. Miguel and Dr. LaSala meant to you?
Yeah, thank God for Dr. LaSala and Dr. Miguel. They saved my life.
While listening to the patients who have been affected by adult stem cells, I began to realize how many people I've known who have had similar life challenges. Family and friends who have faced life-changing healthcare issues. You probably have friends and family with similar challenges. You may even face similar challenges yourself. It just might be that if this important research can continue, our own friends and families may be touched by the power of adult stem cells. Now, not everyone responds to the therapy in such dramatic fashion, but many do. Please help. Please call 888-272-3385. I had the privilege of meeting Patricia Walch. Patricia suffered from a severe heart condition. Prior to receiving her adult stem cells, Patricia had undergone 3 open heart surgeries, over 30 cardiac catheterizations, and 15 stents. Her condition eventually limited every activity of her life. She could barely walk, and as she told me, it became almost impossible for her to finish taking a shower because she would get so fatigued. She told me the heartbreaking story of what she thought was going to be her last Christmas. Lying in bed and surrounded by her loving family, she tried to struggle through that one last Christmas. It was a heartbreaking story until adult stem cells turned the ending into a heart healing story.
This is what I've been waiting for. I know it within my soul because I feel like that we have everything right here within us to heal ourselves. And sure enough, there they are, stem cells. How simple is that?
You remember April 8th, 2008, like it was your birthday. Tell us why that day is so special to you.
Well, it was my birthday. It was my new lease on life. I was born again. Literally, I was a totally different person. I was finally, after all these years, living again.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Your family was actually on a death watch at your bed at Christmas?
They felt That last Christmas they spent with me, they were even afraid to come over because they thought it would be too much for me. And I begged them, please know this may be my last Christmas. I need to have all of you with me. I need to have my family with me. I need to see my grandbabies. I need to feel the love. I need to see that. And that, even though I was in my pajamas and half the night I stayed in bed, I got to spend that Christmas with them, which we all believed was going to be my last Christmas.
What about your husband? What does he have to say about your stem cell support?
He was wonderful. I don't know if I would have survived without Eddie's support. He took such good care, showed such love, and it was that love that made me fight even harder. He wasn't ready to give me up, and I wasn't ready to leave him. He went with me through all the highs and lows, the roller coaster rides, thinking this is going to be fun, this is going to work, I'm going to be better now. And then next day or next week, I was right back at rock bottom again. So it was truly a roller coaster ride for him and for me. But without his strength, I would not have reached where I did. And he was absolutely amazed, and still is amazed, by what has happened since the stem cell infusion. He's got his wife back. He's got the woman that he fell in love with back, and we're living again. We're living as a couple, we're living as friends, we're just living, and we're both so thankful for that.
What does your family say when they see you now?
It's like everybody else's reaction. They can't believe that I'm the same person. They can't believe I survived. They can't believe that this has made such a difference. To them, it's just like I said, it's like a miracle. They are just totally flabbergasted that something so simple within ourselves could heal us like it did and make a new person out of us.
If you could look at me and pretend that I'm Dr. Miguel and Dr. LaSala, what would you say to me?
Oh God. Hope I can do this without crying. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You saved my life. You gave me the miracle that we had all prayed for so long. And just keep up the good work. Just keep up the good work. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much.
What message would you give to a person who might be considering stem cell therapy but might still be a little skeptical?
It's just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. And it's just, I can't explain enough or tell you enough how important this work is and how much it's going to mean to so many people all over the world.
Dr. Jose Miguel has given us a great explanation of the science of stem cells. From your perspective as a physician and a healer, how have stem cells changed your world?
Well, it's changed my world significantly because, as I said before, we used to treat diseases by cutting things out and by removing things. It really touches your heart when you see somebody who can move and all of a sudden they start moving a limb and they say, now, I'm not completely cured, but I can use my hand to move a wheelchair and I can move around. Or when somebody was unable to walk 3 or 4 steps and they tell you, I can walk 200 or 300 yards. Somebody who was disabled and now he's working in construction. You know? So it's very moving. And it's moving not only because of the results that you see, but because of the letters that you get from the patients, from the family members, the phone calls, those expressions of thankfulness, and it's really touching. It's something that really gets to you.
When you had this inspiration nearly 7 years ago, did you have any idea that you would be sitting here today talking about this kind of promise for the future?
You know, when I had this inspiration, like all inspirations, I think you have to see the mountain far away and think that you can climb that mountain. I never thought how big the mountain was going to be, but I knew I was going to get there. Now I see the mountain is bigger than I thought it was, but I think we're reaching to the top.
What would you tell people watching this who don't know about or understand stem cell research and therapy?
I would like to say, please, if you don't know anything about stem cells, listen, read, research, and you'll understand a lot of things. And you'll understand how it works, and you understand the promise that this provides for medicine and for the world.
Dr. LaSala, we've interviewed several patients who've had their lives transformed by a stem cell therapy. Patricia, Bill, Rodney, and Dudley. If they were in this room right now, what would you say to them?
If the patients were here today, they will be hugging me. They love me. I love them too. We become friends, you know, after what happened to them. I don't think I have to say anything to the patient. Probably the patients will tell you more than what I would tell. Oh, goodness.
We have listened to some very dramatic medical stories today. Both Dr. LaSala and Dr. Mengel have told me of their hopes for treating many more patients in the future. But they both caution me that although some of these stories are dramatic, many patients, for whatever reason, have not experienced the same dramatic results. The research is still in its beginning stages, and there's no guarantee that all patients will receive the same outcomes. With your help, the research can continue. With your support, this new treatment can change more lives. Call now, 888-272-3385.